Sam stopped when he was sure no one was pursuing. He observed his surroundings briefly. He decided to spend the night there. He hadn't laid down for 5 minutes when he heard a faint sound. He sprang up and grabbed a rough stick about 2 meters long. He wasn't afraid of the wild. Animals he could deal with. But it's difficult to defend yourself against something you cannot see. The sound drew closer. Then the person bumped into him. Both yelped and fell. Sam found his stick and scrambled to his feet. It was the guy from the funeral home. "Who are you?" both asked in unison.
I am Frederick,
the Prince of... But Sam's humorless laughter interrupted him. "Yes, and I am King Decker," Sam said and hissed.
I am Prince Frederick.
Sam was astonished at the guy's seriousness. "You are Prince Frederick of the Crabe Kingdom?" Fred nodded. "What were you doing in the funeral home with the dead queen?" Fred stepped back in horror.
What are you talking about, man? Are you one of King of Bazoo's men?
"Relax, I'm just the local thief. I'm Sam." He offered his hand for a shake. Fred hesitated, but took it. "How did you know I was in the funeral home?" Sam told him and then asked, "How could you be having an affair with the queen of this land? Are there no suitable damsels in your kingdom?" "Shh, someone could hear you," Fred cautioned as he tentatively drew Sam closer to a tree stem for cover. "Why are you whispering?" Sam said. "Someone could hear you." "This is Manor Woods. Nobody comes here at night." "The Queen's body is missing." "Great. Thanks to you, they think I stole her body."
Did anyone catch you in there? The mortician saw me flee.
The journey downward wasn't easier, Fred discovered, when it was already too late. He watched Sam slide with glee, hooting in delight as he plunged into the river. He stayed under for about 70 seconds, which seemed like hours, before shooting his head out of the surface. Fred had watched in horror when he delayed resurfacing after his glorious descent. His panic rose until he screamed Sam's name. He almost pissed himself in fear. Then Sam resurfaced out of the deep with a branch stuck to his hair, further frightening the already frightened prince. "Stop behaving like a schoolgirl and get down here!" Sam yelled from below, grinning widely, immensely impressed with himself. It's not every day you get to frighten a crown prince. Fred cursed him under his breath, but feeling the idiot below deserved more cursing, voiced it. However, the more he cursed the man below, the more jeers he got from him. "How will you rule your people like this? I hope the king has other sons, because..." "Talk!" A stone hit Sam on the head and immediately shut him up. Fred smiled triumphantly as Sam rubbed the spot where the stone made contact. "At least you've got one skill," Sam thought unsmilingly. "It's just a slide. It's just a slide would be over in a second," Fred kept repeating to himself. But when he stuck out a foot, he lost balance. He fell with such speed he didn't think was possible. Yet it wasn't a smooth fall. He bumped into everything along the way. When he finally landed in the water, he found he couldn't pull himself up. He was so terrified even to breathe. So he allowed himself to be pulled down. It felt more peaceful. Then he tried to breathe, but water filled his nostril. He opened his eyes, but couldn't see a thing. For a split second, he forgot where he was. Then he remembered and panicked. He struggled to pull himself up, but something kept pulling him downward. He tried to scream for help, but only a gaggle of bubbles erupted from his mouth. Sam waited for Fred to show. He continued to muse about the prince's lack of manly skills. Then he worried he was taking too long. When he saw the bubbles, he guessed what was happening and immediately ducked his head in the water. He prayed he wasn't too late. Fred felt something pull at his coat. He had no strength to resist any longer. He was then pulled up. There was no strength left in him to fight, so he gave in to the darkness threatening to overshadow him. Sam dragged him to the shore and laid him on his back. He felt his pulse. It was weak. Sam pumped his chest and blew into his mouth. Nothing happened, but Sam was determined. Moments later, Fred coughed and almost choked on the water gushing from his mouth. Sam lifted him to a sitting position and allowed him to continue to cough until all the excess water was out of him. "Thank you," Fred said when he regained his strength. Sam stared at him for a while before replying,
I thought you said you could swim.
"I can swim. In pools. The water was cold, you know." "What were you thinking, going down into a river with a coat weighing over 1,000 pounds?" Sam demanded.
I wasn't thinking.
Obviously!
Fred saw Sam wasn't angry at him. He was just shocked that he almost drowned. Thank you, he said again. Sam nodded and looked away. He stood up and looked around. Fred followed his gaze and asked, "What are you looking for?" "I need to get some dry sticks to make a fire." "Is my village far from here?" Fred asked. "No."
If you cross over, there's a clear path to a junction. You can get a ride home from there. Are you homesick?
"Homesick? No. I wish I wouldn't have to go home."
You're full of surprises, Your Highness. Why are you running from home? Did I say I'm running from home?
Sam ignored his question. "Why don't you want to go home?" "The pressure is too much. Everybody expects too much from me. No matter what I do, it's never enough for the king."
I take it he's not aware of your rendezvous with the late Queen?
"I don't get it. You're a prince, the heir to the throne of your kingdom. What chores could you be doing? Don't you have servants flooding your palace, ready to tend to your whims?" "The burden I bear, no servant can take away. Sometimes I feel the servants enjoy more freedom than I do. I cannot decide for myself. I don't think I blame the king for that one. I mean, look at your choice of a woman. She's old enough to be your mother, man. What were you?"
You're quick with your hands, aren't you? And you are quick with your mouth.
Fred snapped, although pleased with what he'd done. Both sat quietly by the fire. Fred was thinking about the Queen. Now he was finding it quite difficult to believe that he didn't just imagine what happened a few hours ago. Was it hours? Hardly. But it seemed like many hours had passed since he fled the funeral home. How could a corpse just wake up and disappear? Where was she? No. The scary face that frightened him wasn't his beloved. Something else was happening. Was he in a nightmare? He thought wearily. Then he cast a look at Sam, the man who proudly introduced himself as a thief, and he witnessed everything. That seemed to be a confirmation that this was really happening. But Sam could also be part of his nightmare. Weren't there characters and scenes in dreams? He hoped it was truly a dream. Sam, too, was thinking. His stomach was making a familiar noise. The last thing he ate that morning was a bland plate of rice. He had no money, and at the moment knew that he wouldn't get any in his surroundings. He took stock of where he was. A flowing river, a dense forest, and nothing more. He shot a look at his companion and remembered he was a prince, or so he claimed. Sam didn't quite know if he believed him or not. Apart from his finely manicured fingers and his pampered skin, There was nothing that suggested he was royalty. Well, he spoke like the educated, but he lacked the general arrogance inherent in a royal born. Does he have money? Sam wondered. He couldn't have travelled all that distance to see his lover without money. Sam thought of robbing him, but a fish leapt out of the water, gave a strange dance in mid-air, and gracefully fell back with a splash. Sam remembered his hunger. A movement behind brought them out of their thoughts. Both turned back. Fred wasn't expecting anything. His mind was so muddled up with confusion that it seemed he was no longer conscious of his present. But Sam expected a wild animal or something to charge at them, and he readied himself for self-defence. They saw an apparition. The apparition was like a man. The old man wore a long flowing gown that had seen better days. His grey beard almost touched his chest. His right hand held a staff, and his dreads were covered in a red turban. He was walking towards them. Both screamed in unison as they tried to scramble to their feet. His trousers caught fire, and both collided in their confusion and landed in a loud crash in the river. The old man paused. He watched the drama playing before him and was unimpressed. "What sissies," he thought and hissed. "And is that not the Prince of the Crabe Kingdom? Oh, gods of the land, how will this work?" "At ease, boys," the old man snapped. The young men froze. The man could talk. He wasn't a ghost, Sam thought. But so did the corpse of the Queen. That one was definitely a ghost. The old man drew closer to them and sat on a nearby stone, waiting for them to pull themselves together. Sam realised this and, with great effort, pulled Fred out of the water. Sam summoned courage and asked the man,
Who are you? Are you one of the dead? Why are you here?
He didn't feel the confidence his tone portrayed. The old man waited for a full minute to pass before responding. "I'm not a ghost. Not yet one." "Is that you, Prince Frederick?" he asked the young man, playing invisible. Fred stared at him. "You know him?"
You know him?
Sam asked, shifting to bring the prince into full view.
Yes, I do, and so do you too. I'm here because of a minor problem you two have caused.
Sam's brows arched. What is this man talking about? The ghost of the Queen roams free, and that is a problem. The Queen? How did you know? Who are you? My dear boy, there's little that happens that I don't know.
Who are you? I am the mouthpiece of the deity. The chief priest? I thought legend says you never leave your shrine?
Yes, but the events of tonight, which both of you wrought, have forced me to come out. What are you talking about, mister? You know him? Fred asked Sam, and Sam gave a slight nod.
I'm talking about the queen spirit that is trapped in this world and is roaming free. There is no time. Time for what? What are you talking about? Boy, I don't have use for your foolishness!
You opened the doors of this world to a dead that was transitioning. Now she is trapped in this world. You must return her to her coffin before dawn, or all hell will be let loose in this kingdom and yours.
I didn't!
But I didn't... Fred shut up. He didn't know what to say.
The transitioning of a dead royalty is sacred. What were you thinking when you got in the way? I didn't know. Well, you must return the queen. You must do so before dawn. How, sir? I don't know where she is. She is at Lucas Inn now. She won't be there long.
You must coerce her to return to her coffin before dawn. I will give you a compass to guide you. You must hurry. Only you can perform this task." Then, as if on second thought, he added, "Your friend can help you." "No, no, no, priest! I have nothing to do with this. And this prince is not my friend. We just met, and we haven't even been properly introduced." "I think you should help him all the same." He gave the prince a compass. "This will help you track her. I shall be with the gods interceding on your behalf. This task must be completed before dawn." The man stood up, and they watched him disappear into the forest.
Can I get any more dramatic? First, a talking corpse. Now, we have to chase after the corpse. Wonderful! Just wonderful!
Fred didn't say a word. His body was vibrating with fear.